Hey guys, first off, thank you so much for catching this episode of Unplugged podcast. I want to apologize for posting these things at sporadic times. I'm getting used to working consistently again and trying to make content as well, so I appreciate that you guys are still watching this and listening and being a part of it, so thank you so much. But before we start this next episode, I want to talk about our sponsors. So since I started making new content, I knew that eventually I wanted to work with sponsors. But I only want to work with sponsors that I truly believed in. Popple is the newest and best products for digital business cards. So that means all of your business information, all of your social media, you can link it all on one device, whether it be a bracelet. They also have stickers like this for the back of my case, and keychains. Also big stickers for businesses, like if you have a office or restaurant, you want to post your menu or links to your business, on the door. You can make that as well. Popple also does branding too, so they put your brand right on there, just like mine. It's pretty easy. Let me just show you right now. You take any smartphone, like here, my iPhone 13, and you just wave the Popple device in the back. It sends a link. Click on the link, and then let me just get my ID there, and it goes right to my Popple profile, which has all my social media: Instagram, Spotify, SoundCloud, Venmo, email, YouTube videos, and you just click on whichever you want and go right to all your social media right there. So this is my Instagram. It's pretty cool. I really love it. I've been using it a lot ever since I started DJing more live in public again, like at Knott's. I'm back at Disneyland again. So it's an easy way to connect with people on social media. Just a little simple wave of your wrist or your phone and you're connected. It's super easy, because how many times have you gotten a business card and just been lost, missing in your bag, or lost in a pocket you haven't opened up for years, And I really do think that Popple did help me boost my following from around 600 to 1,000 now, and that was just from the summer to now, and I'm still growing. So Popple is a big part of it to just make it easy connection with people that I meet on a daily basis. So I love Popple. I encourage all of you to get a Popple device. In fact, if you type in Katar Marcus on the Popple website, you'll get 20% off on all your Popple purchases. So that means the bracelet, the keychain, the Popple sticker, everything on the Popple site, 20% off. Thanks so much again for watching, guys. We have so many other interviews coming up and new videos, so please subscribe, all that's down below. And thank you again. And I'm just looking forward to making more content for everybody and hearing your feedback. Also, my episode of Baker's Dozen on Hulu is now out. So if you have Hulu, if you don't have Hulu, sign up for Hulu. It's pretty cheap. But I am on Baker's Dozen, a baking show, episode 1. So I'd love to see what you guys think and at me and whatnot. And thank you for watching. So with that said, enjoy this next episode of Unplugged podcast. I'll see you. Peace. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the new season of Unplugged podcast. But I have a very talented friend, a very, very cool friend who I met on Instagram, and we've been dying to communicate and talk. In fact, this is actually our second time doing this, because the first time I got so excited to talk to her and just really get in her head and just basically learn more about Dom, and then I completely forgot to record it. So we are now recording, and we are timing. I'm being very organized, and I'm not gonna get fanboyish and ask you too many questions. I know more about you now, and I feel like that's good, because it's like we did a chemistry test, and and we're vibing. It's working out. But without further ado, I have the very talented Dom Battle. Her handle is Dom Does It on Instagram, and she is a very talented creator.
Dom Diva does it.
Oh, Dom Diva. I apologize. Yeah.
Dom Diva does it. Yeah.
You gotta have that diva in there, of course.
Don't forget the diva part.
she embodies that. So I thank you. You kept me in line. But she's a very talented artist, and she actually works for Loungefly, and she has very popular on Instagram. I'm a big fan of her looks and style that she does. She does Disney bounding and other nerdy things. She's a nerd. We're like kindred spirits, because we're both nerdy.
Nerds Unite for sure.
Nerds Unite, yeah. That should be a product. Nerds Unite. That's a good product line. I met Dom because she drew a picture of me in my Spider-Man Marvel bound or Disney bound, and I remember that day specifically, I was having a bad day that day, and then out of nowhere, this random stranger makes this nice little drawing of me in my outfit, and I'm like, oh my god, who's this person? And then I added her, and then we started talking from there, and then now we're here, and I adore you, Dom. I can't wait to finally meet you and hang out with you because like it's been
thanks.
so fun to get to know you for the last interview and right now.
Yeah.
So and I'm even more because I didn't know you worked at Loungefly. I didn't know you were a designer, and that's
Yeah.
so huge. And like I'd love to see your work in the future and things like that. And I'm more than happy to be like my friend. And honestly, like Loungefly, everything they've made are like there's not a product that I don't like. I think they're all really cool. They're all specifically made for like a fan. Like if you're a fan
Yeah.
of this, whatever cartoon or movie, like they have a Loungefly, backpack or wallet for it, So I remember I saw
really amazing when
there's
it
like an
comes.
Oliver and Company one. And like Oliver and Company, that's like so deep cut, No one talk. There's a fan base for Oliver and Company, but like no one, you don't see a lot of merch or things like that. But they have a Oliver and Company a bag, I believe, and it's like, wow, that's cool. You're hitting all the marks,
The piano swings, which is really cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's you remember it, yeah? Because I remember when I saw like, and then the tag. Yeah, I remember that now. Oh my god, that's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah.
But I want to pick her head a little bit and talk more about her career and like how she started from a young artist to just building things and creating from her own hands into now working for Loungefly and doing all these cool things. But thanks for coming on, Dom.
No problem. I love being able to chat, especially with friends from the internet. So this is
yeah. Strangers to the internet, Luckily, you're not trying to kill me, so we're good.
No, not at all. Not this month.
Well, maybe this month. It is Halloween. We are both big Halloween fans, so we'll dig in that a little bit. Yeah. But hey, let's talk a little bit about what you do now, and then how like where you started. Actually, no, let's go back. Let's go where you started. Like let's start from the beginning and talk about your love of design, love of creativity and art. Where did that start?
Okay, cool. Well, I've always been a creative. Just kind of from cutting up clothes, like that was like a thing of mine. I used to turn jeans into like handbags, and I used to make like little tiny business cards out of just like computer paper and like packing tape. And I remember wanting to like sew, and my grandmother got me my first sewing machine. I didn't know what to do with it or what I was going to sew with it, which that probably went by the wayside because I don't think I used it as much, but I was always wanting to create, even like drawing like boxes for clothes and all that stuff like that. I eventually went to a performing arts middle school, which I thought I was going to be an actress, which I don't actually like on stage attention. I'm not much of an attention person, period. So I don't like the spotlight on me. That didn't end up working out. So I actually worked like with the costumes, which weren't really costumes. It was just like a box of things that we would use during during those.
A closet, lost and found closet. Yeah,
exactly. And this was in junior high school, so it was clearly there was nothing there. It was like little things to throw on. And from there, I went to an actual fashion design high school in downtown LA, which is downtown. Well, what is it now? It's downtown Magnet High School, but it had business, electronics, and fashion. And so it was really cool because we were able to like technically what in certain schools where you would have an elective, like my elective was actually implemented in all 4 of my years. So I was learning to sew, draw, like the actual industry behind it and all that stuff like that. Even at the end, we had like a fashion show, which was really cool. And they gave me like scholarships to Woodbury University, which I had told myself I didn't need a university scholarship for LA because I was moving. I was going to leave. And I did. I went to San Francisco and California College of the Arts up there. And I did everything but design there, which was my mom was not a fan of because that was what I went to school for. Was design.
Yeah.
I was at an art school in San Francisco that actually opened my mind to being able to work with so many other mediums from like sculpting to glass blowing, installations, a little bit of everything that I honestly owe that year of my life to like the person that I am now, because now I can create with so many different mediums. And then I got homesick and I came home and ended up actually going to the college that they were offering scholarships for. And I was like, no, thank you. And so I went to
here.
I'm back home. Like I moved back home. I didn't want to give up on the dream,
I ended
up going to college out here in Burbank at Woodbury University and continuing my education. But even when I was in school, I was like still always doing stuff. I was like working with a woman who actually helped me work on my prom dress. And so I was like sewing prom dresses for her, and that ended up like leading me into doing like weddings, and I had like side business that was like helping me pay for school, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So that made me think like, ooh, I can have my own brand, my own line. And
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
like, it was so easy to have websites. I remember my senior year, I had a website and it was called So Rich, SEW.
That's cool. I like, oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
And it was just like hoodies and like leggings and things like that. And it was just money to help me pay for like college expenses, like senior year expenses. And from there, I thought this was like, oh, okay, this is my life. I graduated. We did the senior fashion show and I was over it. Like I didn't want to design anymore. I was exhausted. I don't know if it was like the working and the schooling at the same time, but I was like, yeah, I think I'm done with this. I want to give up. What do I do now? And I ended up actually getting a job at Crumb's Bake Shop, cupcakes. And I was pushing cupcakes for about 2 years, and I realized that even in a job that was just like, you know, customer service, food service, I still ended up being creative. I got bored very easily. And so I started like in my boredom at the cupcake places, like drawing on cupcakes. And from there, I started doing like Monday Night Football cupcakes. And then my boss saw that and he thought that was really cool. And he's like, oh, you should show this to the other shop. So I started going around to like the other Crumbs and like showing them like how to draw on cakes because they didn't do that at the time. And in the midst of me realizing that, I was like, oh, maybe I kind of need to get back to what I'm actually like meant, you know, like what this was. So in the midst of that, I started like actually scouting out like more jobs and doing more freelance stuff like Halloween costumes and more proms again, and landed my first like real industry job. I say real industry job, but I've been working in the industry like freelance forever, since like high school, honestly. But I never had a full-time industry job until after Crumbs. And I ended up working for a licensing company that worked with like Target, Forever 21, Universal, Warner Brothers, Disney. And we would do like t-shirts, graphic tees and things like that. And then
like what I'm wearing right now, just like
stuff like that. Literally like we would work with licenses and then put them in these stores, which is like Forever 21, Target, Kohl's. There's so many stores. And then from there, I gave up on fast fashion. So I was like, this isn't the life I want. Here I come from a costume background to like going into cupcakes to going into t-shirts, which is like fast fashion. And then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I actually ended up getting another job in the costume industry, but not like the costume industry you would think. It was actually Halloween costume industry.
It makes sense.
For about 5 years, I was like, I worked for a Halloween bat costume company. And we would like create it was sexy Halloween costumes.
Lingerie
and the sexy Halloween costumes. And
like it's like sexy Robin, but it's like sexy sidekick. Or Poison Ivy, sexy like, plant lady. You can't like, say it, but like
you can't say it. It's not Poison Ivy. You said it. Sexy. You know? And so
what's the funniest like fake, clearly copied costume that you could think of?
This is my industry for 5 years. Okay, so when I first started, I did a Cheshire Cat. Actually, Alice in Wonderland is like public domain because it was, a book. So it's not just like you can call it a Cheshire Cat. But I made the tail on this costume, and the factory made it exactly how I drew it, and it looked like a very inappropriate part of a man. And I was like, this is the way.
It just hung really low, and like
it was the way that they shaped it.
Was it was like fluffy at the end?
Yes, it was a different color at the end. It
was a mushroom on there.
It was the worst. It was the worst. But over the years, we made some really trashy, funny costumes. I will say.
Wow! Oh my God!
it was a good part of my like design creativity, which was very fun. Um, it was
That's
fun.
cool.
You get fun to get to play around with
No,
that
yeah,
as a big
yeah,
person who is just full of fandoms in
yeah,
general, being
yeah,
able
yeah,
to
yeah.
play around with those
Uh-huh.
fandoms. Like even my love for horror, I was able to do like a sexy Freddy Krueger at one point. I did like a sexy Chucky. Like those characters clearly aren't sexy, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
leave
yeah.
it to
No, I
me.
mean, you know what?
Look,
Since cosplay's been a thing,
look,
if you give
exactly.
me a sexy Mario, I'm down. I'm not. I am not against any. Like, you can take any character and make it sexy.
Yeah,
Like,
you can.
okay, I'm
You
cool with it.
really can.
Like, I'm not complaining at all.
So
Like,
leave it to me to make a horror character sexy.
that means there was a time when I've been to a bar and I met a girl on like Halloween, and
Yeah.
she was most likely wearing one of your costumes. That's
No, oh
that's
yeah,
pretty
for
cool.
sure. For sure. It was so crazy, like the years working there, and I would see so many people down to celebrities in our costumes. It was really
That's
fun.
cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and I was as I was working there, I started leaning more into accessories. So I used to do like wigs, wings, like added on pieces. And I actually, in the midst of that, I decided I wanted to start doing more like digital illustrations, just like on my own.
Mhm.
Just I feel like it's very important for creatives to have different outlets,
Yeah.
to create. Like you
Mhm.
have to let the steam out somewhere. Like I don't want
Yeah.
to burn out just creating solely for a company. So I would do like digital illustrations on my own, which was nice. And people would see them and they're like, oh, you should sell these. But for me, it was never about like selling my work because I have a full-time job. It's more or
Yeah.
less like I'm creating, I want the
Yeah.
art to be out there.
Just having
Um,
that out there to expert. You just want to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
it
yeah.
out.
So like it
Yeah.
would just be things that were on my mind. Like
Hmm.
I remember I did like drag queen cocktails at some point.
Hmm.
There I call them queen cocktails, and
Okay.
just stuff that was like it's on my mind. Clearly, this
Hmm.
doesn't make sense as a costume, but I could
Yeah.
always incorporate this that way. So I started Dom Diva Drew It at some point, and that's where again my handle is Dom Diva Does It because I kind of do everything.
Yeah. Clearly.
It's not one thing that I don't do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I don't do it, believe you me, if I want to
Yeah.
do it, I can learn how to
Yeah.
do it. So I started doing that. And in the midst of me doing the digital illustrations and working, it became so good for me to be able to kind of like average that out. Like I have work creative versus like, me creative. And about a year and 2 months ago, I decided to leave the costume industry and I ended up landing a job at Loungefly, which is really cool. So I'm one of the bag designers at Loungefly, which is on the innovative team, which is really cool because we like figure out the bells and whistles of the bags, like
Yeah.
how things work. So that's really cool. So yeah, I work there now. So
That's awesome.
that's my start to present of
Yeah, that's
creating.
amazing. I think for a lot of people, like I think like traditionally with school, it's like, okay, you choose a major, maybe even minor, and those are what you focus on, and then you plow through and you get that brass key,
Yeah,
but I think for a lot of people, and I think for a lot of many people our age, me myself, I've never felt satisfied in one direction. I've always
yeah,
wanted to do other things and explore other outlets. And just because, like, why learn one thing when you can learn a
you
lot
can
of
learn
things?
so
Yeah, yeah,
much.
yeah.
There's like
And
a trend going on TikTok, and they explain there's that quote, a master, what is it? A jack of all
master,
trades,
yeah, but
a jack
master
of
of
all
none.
trades is a master of none. But there apparently there's like a longer saying to it of, pretty much you have to be that way in order to keep going. There's no A to B. And for
Yeah,
me, my life has definitely been like, well, you're familiar with like roller coasters and all that. It's lots of
yeah,
loops, turns,
yeah,
and clicks to get from A to B, and then from
yeah,
B to get off, and you walk to
yeah,
C, and then to yeah. There's
yeah.
so many things, and I think that's a big thing that just kind of like motivates people to kind of keep going.
Mhm.
You stick in one spot, you get bored eventually.
But I love how you took everything that you've learned and basically cataloged it in your own kind of style of how you because you could sew, you could design cakes, you draw, like those are all facets that like just come together into everything you do even now. That's really
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
it's my glorious purpose.
Yeah, it is. It
It's
is.
to
It
be a
is.
creative. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no matter
and you're
what I
doing it.
do,
Yeah.
and as much as I've tried to get away from it, I always end up back to creating.
Yeah, yeah. But at the same time, you're thriving and doing a great job, and clearly you're talented because I don't think
Thank
I mean
you.
launch. If you don't know Launchfly, who are you if you don't know Launchfly? Launchfly is one of the biggest. I want to say one of the biggest fan like designers
Yeah,
out
as
there
far as like
in the fan
fan-based
community.
bags, yeah.
In terms of like luxury bags and like leatherware, things like that.
Yeah, our mini backpacks are like everywhere.
Yeah,
Honestly, after I started working there, like I feel like I saw them places, but now I see them like everywhere, like
yeah.
everywhere.
How's it to like go to Disneyland and see people wearing your designs? How cool is that?
So it's so funny because at my first like full-time industry job, we actually worked with Parks Products before and did like t-shirts and stuff. So I remember when I first started seeing things, it would just like freak me out. Like, oh my gosh, I helped on this. I helped work on
That's
this.
cool.
Like walking into Forever 21, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then when the Halloween costumes happened, it was like, oh, that's mine,
Yeah.
And then I feel like now with Loungefly, because I'm a true fan, like a true Disney fan, true Loungefly fan, it's like I work with so many amazing people at my job, and the fact that they're so creative and how that they make things, like it took a while for me to start seeing things that I've worked on because I just started. But even just being out in the parks when I went right before the day that they dropped the mask mandate was the day that I went to Disneyland.
Okay.
And I saw so many Loungefly bags. It was
Yeah,
like everyone had a Loungefly bag on. And I was like,
so many people.
Always like this? Was it always like this?
I feel like I think in the last 2 years I've seen a lot more launch flies, and I think also there's a lot more affordable products now that they didn't have before, and I think and then I see them because I am nerd centric, so I do go to like nerd events and things like that. But I see my Frankensteins, I've seen my cons, like even before.
They're everywhere.
So
many shops.
Box lunch, Hot Topic. I think I might have even seen some at like Macy's and things like that. So it's a very broad reach you guys have, so that's really cool. I mean, I've always been more on the performance art side of being a creative, not that I don't love drawing and things like that, but like it's so cool that like you have a product that you've made and then you could see it being enjoyed. Like that's such a cool, must be a really cool feeling.
It is. It really is.
I want to see some stuff you made, and can you tell me anything?
It's everything that I've worked on, it's all team effort. So everything is
of course.
Yeah. So like as far as designs that I've worked on, they're slowly starting to come out due to the fact that like I've only been there a year and like that timeline.
Of course.
But I drop subtle hints.
Sometimes. Okay. I'll try to get those. Clues.
Sometimes I drop subtle hints. I honestly didn't.
Humble brag.
I didn't tell people for a while that I worked there. I think they had posted it before I even said it. I was like, oh yeah, I work here now.
I get it. Yeah, like it's like when, because you want to be humble too. You're like, look what I mean. Like, so that's why you have friends like me to hype you up. Be like, my friend Dom made this. You have to buy this. So let me know.
As being a person in like I said, I'm not just somebody who works for this company. I'm also a fan. And then I'm surrounded by so many fandoms and like in so many communities, the Disney, community, the Disney bound community. I just feel like being a part of it is like also very humbling because now I'm on both sides of it. You know what I mean? So I just kind of chill and coast through like every now and then, I'll hype it up,
That's cool. That's so cool. Well, you mentioned Disney bounding, and like actually a big reason why I want to have you on is because I did want to talk about I've been wanting to do a Disney bound centric episode because there are a lot of people. I mean, outside our spectrum of friends in our community, some people don't know what Disney bounding is. Because I remember I dressed up. I didn't dress up. I did because we do brow shows, and one brow show I decided, I'm going to Disney bound this one just see how people react and like if they get it and things like that, and like mostly positive. Some people don't know what it is, or like why is he dressed like Donald, and some people dig it. Usually at the Disney ones, like the Disney brow shows, like I'm the only DJ that Disney bounds, and it stands out, and
Yeah.
it's actually helped my Disney DJ career
Your
immensely.
brand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Building
So
the brand.
I'm
Nice.
glad I discovered it, and like but you know, I want to have you explain what Disney bounding is, because you've been doing it longer than I have, and clearly you're the expert because
Oh, no expert. I'm no expert. I'm no expert. It's so funny because like how you said, like, you know, it's helped technically with your brand. And I guess over the years, Disney Bounded has actually become a big part of my brand. And it all started with me actually just needing something positive to kind of focus on.
Yeah.
I was in college and I came across, I guess this ages me a little bit, maybe not. A
You
Tumblr
understand?
account. That was a Tumblr
In
account.
2019.
Yeah. I came across a Tumblr account, and there was all these pictures of like regular clothes, but like staged as characters. So pretty much Disney bounding is creating a look that represents a character out of things that you already have in your closet. So it's not necessarily cosplay, but it also is pretty much it's everything you have in your closet, and you color coordinate to a character. And I remember putting together my first Disney bound, and it was so bad. And I thank goodness that at that time we didn't have camera quality the way that I honestly think I took it on like maybe like an actual webcam, or maybe it was like a little camera or something like that. But it was Sally.
Okay.
So bad. Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad. I don't pictures for it.
But
pretty much that's what it is. And over the years, I started doing that because I'm not much of a social person, right? So like which is so funny because a lot of people don't believe me when I say that, but I'm a true introvert, okay? And so I wanted something I wanted something that was just for me. Like I was working and I was in college and I was forever up late at night for exams, studio, things like that. And once I came across this, it made me feel really good to like build my confidence up in myself, you know? So I would find these characters and I would just look at them for months. Like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. This is so cool. Shout out to Leslie Kay, who was the creator of Disney Bound. And she would post these and I would just
is she the one that runs the Insta? Or...
Yeah.
Oh, she, okay. Yeah. She's like some of my stuff for.
Yeah.
She's really cool.
She's super dope. And at that
Shout
time, this was now like, it's been 10 years. I've been Disney bounding for 10 years.
Has it been around that long? 10 years?
Yeah. They actually just had the March Disney Bound Challenge, which is so funny because she was doing the prizes, which was the one that I drew of you when they were doing like the contest prizes where that was the 10-year anniversary of
was it?
Oh yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So it's officially been, well, now it's been over 10 years, but so I just kind of would do it randomly. And for me, it was just for me, you know. I think I told my best friend about it. And then the more comfortable I got in it, like they had like a Disney Bound meetup once at Disneyland. It was like their first one. I went.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. And then she started doing it a little more Bound meetups and Dapper Days and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it also helped me crack my shell a little bit because I started meeting strangers who were into the same things that I was into, because you start taking into consideration, like we all have our friends that we grew up with and things like that, but maybe not all of them are the same type of nerds that we are. I didn't realize how nerdy, like, you know how nerdy you are. But then when you get around other nerds,
yeah. It's a different environment, different world.
It's a different vibe.
It's
a different vibe completely. I definitely met so many people that are a big part of my life now, a big part of my tribe in the Disney Bound community. And now it comes natural to me where even just shopping, I'm like picking out, I'm like, oh, this would be perfect for jeans. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this would be a perfect Peter Pan. And you don't do it on purpose. This would be a perfect Maleficent. And majority of my closet is stuff that I can and cannot Disney bound, like just regularly. And then I think a big part of Disney bounding too, which was something that I had to eventually learn, was I still wanted it to look very much like me. And as over the last 10 years, I've incorporated my style. Like most of my Disney bounds are with pants or jumpsuits, because I'm not a skirt wearer. I don't really wear dresses. So I make sure all of my characters normally are like very, what I like to call like casual cute, like they can be dressed up, but it's still
Yeah.
like very casual.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I dress for comfort, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, but with style. So yeah, so that's Disney bounding is creating these characters with your own style with things you have in your closet.
Well, I think your Disney bounding style is very unique to other people, and
Yeah,
it is because you do. I think you do flare a lot of your personality
yeah,
in what you assemble. It's not like you went Pinterest and like this is the colors I like. You kind of
yeah.
have like your own flair.
Everyone starts somewhere though. Honestly,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
started from looking exactly at Leslie's photos of like this bag, this shirt, this, that. And I was like, okay, I can get these things, or I have something similar and put it
yeah.
together. So
I kind of do more like I unless it's Dapper Day, I kind of do more of a casual type of
yeah,
bounding where like okay maybe a shirt and like maybe I'll get like a Hot Topic T-shirt of the symbol of like a character
yeah.
or something
Oh, the
but I
details are important.
yeah yeah yeah
Yeah,
yeah
sometimes the colors aren't enough to give away your character.
yeah yeah well
Sometimes having a little something.
yeah even my Spider one I people don't notice but I do have a Spider-Man tie clip that I put on
Yes.
and you barely I think you might even drew it.
Yeah, I think I did.
I was like, oh, good job. You those
To
detail.
zoom in.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, Dom, good job. But you mentioned earlier how like now when you see ensembles and colors, you have like you could put things together, and I think last time I jokingly said like, oh, it's like it's like you see the Matrix. You have the
Yeah.
sense now. Everything
Yeah.
is like a possibility, which is really cool. Yeah. But I love Disney bounding. For me, I didn't really kind of catch a glimpse of it until maybe like 2017. I think when I
Mhm.
kind of noticed a little more. Like I was
Yeah.
like, oh, people are like people are dressed up because you're not supposed to dress up as a character, but you can Disney
Yeah.
bound. That's the thing because it's actually not permitted to be like you can't wear a full
Wear a
Super
costume
Bowl costume.
unless
Yeah,
it's Oogie Boogie or like
yeah,
Mickey's Halloween
because they don't
party.
want you to be mixed up with the other characters,
Yeah.
which is understandable. I get
Yeah.
it. But like I think in 2017, I noticed people doing, oh, that's kind of cool, and like I wasn't fully like ready to do it yet, and then I think I did Dapper Day. No,
Yeah.
and you mentioned that like you needed to kind of ease into like Disney
Yeah.
again and things like that, and I have my own reasons for when I got my annual pass in like 2018. I lost my best friend in 2016. So like I was having a hard time, and
Yeah.
then like I realized that like getting up like when I got my Disney pass, like it was a place where like I could just like not I just have fun.
Yeah.
It was like it brought
It's
me
a place
joy.
to be without, and I think that's a big part of a lot of people. They don't realize, like us Disney adults, like we're very much so still adults, but we kind of need that sense of like childlike wonder to
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
just to be, just to
Yeah. Yeah.
enjoy,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? The same thrill that people get from like, being foodies, which I also very much so love food, or the same thing that people get from traveling, we
Yeah.
get from just being on Main Street and hearing Up,
Yeah.
playing
Yeah. Yeah.
male
Yeah.
popcorn. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's like the
Mm-hmm.
vibe.
Yeah. Like I love like a slow ride at the very top floor of Mark Twain on the Rivers of
Oh, nice.
America,
Yeah.
feeling a nice breeze and nice sunlight like that. For some reason, that's like such a peaceful moment for me, just to be at the back of the boat, feeling the wind and feeling the
Oh,
sun
it's
in the
so
morning.
nice.
That's like, yeah, it's like a nice little thing.
One of my favorite
Um,
things to do was actually to sit at Jolly Holiday on
okay.
Main Street, and I sit there and I draw. And as I'm drawing, I'm literally just watching people walk by, or
Yeah.
randomly might catch a parade, or
Yeah.
because that's like the perfect spot to like legitimately smell popcorn and like hear and see everything. And that used to be like my favorite thing to do,
That's
just to go
awesome.
and just like take my sketchbook and chill.
A
Not
lot of
even get no
people.
just be that.
Yeah, no, I knew a lot of people that actually I know artist friends who would sketch the park a lot. But like you do mention a lot that it's for a lot of people that go to the park. There like there's two the people that they love Disneyland and like, oh, I hate Disneyland lines. It's always busy, reservations. Like they just all these things that the anxiety that just fills them out. They don't like the park. I
Yeah.
get it. I understand. But like people understand like they're but between all the hustle bustle, like getting on rides and watching shows, like there's some nice quiet moments that you can find in the park that you could
Oh,
just
for sure.
feel tranquil and like just people watch and listen to music and like it's if you go through your day and like not even think about going on rides because you like if you're like a pass holder and you just want to enjoy the park, there's so many great places to just enjoy the
Relax.
space and see people having fun, seeing kids laugh, You know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's and that's why I realized that like Disneyland was a place for me to like kind of come out of my depression, because when I
Yeah.
was at Disneyland, I could see people happy. It was good to see people happy, you know, because
Yeah.
like when you're really sad for a long time, it's hard to remind yourself that like, you know, the world moves on, and like there's beauty out there, you know. So
They
um
call it a serotonin boost. Like a
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It, it
completely,
feels good.
yeah.
It's definitely a feel good place for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I think. Oh, I last time we talked a little bit about, because you know, you mentioned your love of being a creative and designing and stuff. I recently watched a Cruella, and I thought
Oh,
it must have that whole movie. I loved it, by the way. But it must have hit a chord for you, being someone who
oh,
loves
for sure.
design, and like and the character herself was kind of like not traditional you know, creative. There was a little bit of a punk rock resistance, almost like she had her own style, and kind of
Yeah.
rebellious nature of her you know,
Oh, she
what you
was
wanted to
definitely a
do.
rebel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
But
feel like
like
honestly a big part of being a creator, like they represented it so well, is that she like break like any way to make it anywhere, you have to be able to step outside of not just your comfort zone, but everyone else's, because you have to show them something they haven't seen before. And I feel like
mhm.
the way that they created that character, everything that she was going through pushed her to do that. Like she was already very different. So why not push that narrative of being different? Oh, I
Yeah.
absolutely love that movie. I could watch it over and over again. I'm actually a really big villains fan already.
Mhm.
And Cruella is actually one of my favorite Disney characters, top two, not number two. and I've always absolutely loved the fashion narrative behind her. Like even
Mhm.
Glenn Close's Cruella being like, you know, a fashion house, and
Yeah,
all the cartoon Cruella, they never really gave like reference to exactly what she did. You know,
yeah.
she was very fashionable with like her furs and her coats, and you
Mhm.
know, it's just always been that vibe. So this one was just like everything. Like it was so good to see like where she started, and she's like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to draw, and then she's like, I'm gonna work, and that happens for so many people where they're like, I'll work in retail
Yeah.
in order to get me a job. Like my first job was at Forever 21. And then
Mhm.
here it is, years later, I designed things that actually ended up being in Forever 21,
That's cool. That's
which was,
cool.
oh,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was so cool. Like it was, I've had so many full circle moments, and I feel like in that movie that was a big loop for her, like working at
Yeah.
this store, and then
Yeah.
just happens to get like acknowledged by, you know, the person who designed for the department store.
Yeah.
They did it with a very safe edge, you know, not giving us like the Cruella that skinned animals, but you know,
Yeah.
we clearly
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
leading to that. We,
I
we
was I was
know
like I was wondering like how are they gonna tackle that? Cause like there's no coming back from that. I know it like there's no like you can't
character.
there's no coming back from that, you know, like that's an evil character who harmed animals
They
publicly.
feel
It's
like,
evil. Yeah.
yeah, they gave us, I feel like now, especially knowing that they're doing a sequel, I feel like they gave us, we all love to hate to love characters, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Especially
Yeah.
villains.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know they're bad, but you still like them and you want them to win and prevail. And I feel like in that aspect of it, they gave us this one where we have a better understanding of who she is and why she is the way that she is. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping to give us a little edge of the actual Cruella.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really good, and like I could tell, I don't know, I could tell like that most likely hit a chord. Like there's some movies that were like, you know, like it wasn't for me, although I enjoyed it, but like it wasn't like something that like triggered like my own, you know, memories, or like, oh, I remember those, you know, like that experience. And oh no, but there are things you could relate with, you know, being a kid, and being misunderstood. You know, there are things that people, but for you who did do design, and like it was like, watch out, there's mini me, you know, like
Yeah,
you definitely saw yourself in that character. That's just really cool.
oh, for sure. Especially like watching her create things like, oh my goodness, one of my favorite outfits was the garbage truck dress.
Oh
And it was
yeah, yeah, that was cool.
up, and I'm like, she just made a dress out of trash, you guys. It was crazy because
Yeah.
honestly, I actually made one of my friend's prom dresses And I made a corset for my high school fashion show legitimately out of newspaper and like a magazine clippings. So like how you're saying, it sparks those interests where you're like, she made a dress out of trash. There. It's been me. You know?
Who's watching me? Like someone's taking my ideas.
Oh gosh, yes. So then you start realizing, like, again, this brings us back to like the Disney Bound moment where it's like this, you're not alone in this world, you know, especially if Ellen is doing the same things on this big screen that you've always imagined to do or been in that place. Oh, I absolutely love that movie. It was so good. It was so good. It was a good one.
Dom, we're coming close to finishing up here, but I want to have you on more often because I just love talking to you.
Yeah,
we're both nerds, so we could definitely just have like it's just all full, you know, nerd talks, and there are lots of stuff coming up, and
sure.
But also congratulations on your engagement. I want to also congratulate you, and she just had I think save the date at the El Capitan. Beautiful.
Yeah, I did my photos there.
Yeah.
And announced that we're speaking nerds.
We're getting it done.
We're having a very nerd wedding. We're having a Star Wars themed wedding, which is very fun. So gotta love it.
I can't wait to see pictures from it.
Yeah.
But before we end this, I do want to ask: is there anything that you may want to tell any young person out there who is pursuing a career like similar to yours, or who just wants to pursue a career of passion? What would you tell that young person or older person, whoever wants to start their life together?
A big part of being a creative is there's going to be so much back and forth. And as I said in mine, where I gave up on myself. So I guess I wouldn't say don't give up on yourself, because you're going to, you know, that's like the inevitable. But in the midst of you giving up on yourself, make sure that you always follow back. You know what I'm saying? You just, it's more or less like giving yourself that room to breathe, giving yourself creative breaks, creative freedoms and things like that. But always circle back to what you feel you need. Like I felt like there's not one point in my life where I feel like I can't create, even though I give up on myself so many times and I take so many breaks and things like that, but it's just kind of a part of me. So if there's a passion that you have, always make sure to keep that in the back of your mind, that if you want it to happen, you kind of gotta keep with it and make it happen. So I guess it is, if you do give up on yourself, don't give up on yourself. You know,
gotta root for your own team. I get you. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So I'm gonna post Dom's shop online on the page and everything. So
drop my Halloween collection. So
awesome. Yeah. Oh shit, we didn't talk about Halloween. We could. Man, I gotta have back on for a Halloween talk.
It's my favorite Halloween. Yeah,
mine too. I just started my costume.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I want to thank you again for coming on, and I'd love to have you on more often, and every week. No. Katar and Dom every week. That's what we're gonna do.
You know.
But
to be back though. This was very nice. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh yeah, no. I gotta award my friends now that because a lot of times I've lost successful friends that you know they're on TV or they they design launch line. I'm always like, that's my friend. Like she made that cartoon. Oh, that's my friend. She designed that bag. So I want to apologize to my future friends for dropping Dom's name when I see her work. So, but she's very talented. Please check out her shop and check out Loungefly for all their newest merch. I'm sure there's stuff coming out very soon. But with that said, thank you so much, Dom. I really appreciate you coming on and giving me this time, and I want to have you on again. So let's just end this interview, and I'll just say I'll just sound off to everyone else. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Be safe, be kind, be you, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace. Thank you so much for catching this episode of Unplugged. Don't forget, you can catch Unplugged both on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, or anywhere podcasts are found. And as always, you can follow me at The Amazing Katar on Instagram, as well as the other links to my socials down below. Thank you again for watching. Be safe, be kind, be you, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.